You can buy the right house in the wrong part of Langley. And usually you're not going to realize it until after you've unpacked. Because at first glance, Langley, it checks a lot of boxes. You've got more space, the neighborhoods, they feel calmer, and it's got that small town rhythm that a lot of people are craving. It's just far enough away from the noise, but it's still within reach of the city. And so for a lot of buyers, that's enough. And, they'll see this nice backyard, maybe a finished basement, maybe an open kitchen with a big island, and they're ready to make an offer. But here's the part that most people don't realize up front. Langley isn't just one community, all right? It's a whole bunch of very different neighborhoods. Some are established, some are still growing, and they're all wearing that same name. And that's where a lot of buyers, they get caught off guard because just one street over, everything can change. Different schools, different amenities, different kind of feel. I've had people come to me a year after buying and they're frustrated. And it's not because of the house that they bought. The house is fine. But the commute is a grind. There's construction around almost every corner. And the peace and quiet that they were once sold on, well, it never really showed up. So in this video, I want to walk you through the real stuff, the trade-offs, if you will, that don't show up in the listings, those red flags that take a while to show themselves, and the one piece that usually will tip the scale once you see it clearly. So let's start off with the big one, the one thing that draws the most people to Langley, and that is the space to breathe. You see, one of the biggest reasons people move out here is for the space, all right? And it's not just the square footage. I mean, the real space. We're talking backyards, big backyards, quiet streets, driveways, right? Driveways where you can park two cars side by side and still open the doors without hitting anything. Compared to Vancouver or Burnaby, it's night and day. So there's less density, less noise, and you're not stacked on top of your neighbor. And hey, if you've got kids, that space, it becomes even more valuable. So there's more parks, the streets, they feel safer. And in a lot of neighborhoods, schools are actually walkable, which means seriously simplifying your mornings. What I hear from a lot of people is they want more breathing room, but they don't want to feel isolated either. So they want that sweet spot. They've got the room to stretch out without feeling like they're out in the middle of nowhere. And if you know where to look, Langley can give you exactly that. But the space, it does come with a trade-off. Langley is still very much a driving city. So if you're in Willoughby or Langley City, you might have a few stops or transit options nearby, but head out to places like Brookswood, Murrayville, Aldergrove, and you are going to be in your car. And the traffic, it is no joke. Highway 1, it can crawl at rush hour. Even crossing town on 200th or 208th, it can be backed up. There's construction everywhere right now. We've got road work, new developments, infrastructure is still playing catch up in most spots. So yes, you do get more space, but you're also going to be spending more time behind the wheel. That's something I always flag very early on with my clients because, it's really easy to fall in love with a beautiful home. But if it adds 90 minutes to your commute every single day, well, that shine, it's going to wear off very fast. I had clients who loved this home in Fort Langley. It was exactly their style. But once we mapped out their weekly schedule, that commute, it would have cost them an hour and a half every single day. And so ultimately they ended up buying in Walnut Grove, and instead now they get to walk their kids to school every day. So that's a lot easier for them. And that's the kind of trade-off that you want to think about early before you buy. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the community vibe here in Langley because it just feels a little bit different. Things move a little bit slower here, and not in a bad way, okay? In a more human way. I mean, people, they say hello, they make eye contact, and they'll hold the door open for you. So there's a friendliness here that you don't always see in the city. And that whole idea of community, it's not just something that people say. It's something you actually see in Langley. You've got farmers market, neighborhood events, block parties, the kind of stuff that really brings people together. And it can catch some people off guard, but more of in a good way, all right? And I always bring that up with my clients who are weighing living in Langley against other more urban areas, because it's not just about the square footage or maybe the layout of the home that you're looking at. It's more about about how the place actually makes you feel. And that feeling of connection, it doesn't just come from nice neighbors. It also comes from, how your surroundings are going to shape your everyday, your energy, and of course, your outlook on life. And that's kind of the glue that makes this place all stick together. But I'm going to be honest with you, that charm, it is being tested. Langley is changing fast. Willowbrook especially is booming. High rises are going up, townhouses everywhere, schools, they're scrambling to keep up, roads, they're being widened, and shopping centers, they seem to be popping up almost overnight. I mean, just look at Willoughby Town Center or Latimer Village. So here's the thing. Yes, growth, it does bring opportunity for sure, but it also is going to bring noise, it's going to bring dust, and it's going to bring delays, right? And if you don't know which areas are still in transition, well, you could end up living in the middle of a construction zone. And then you're going to be left wondering why it doesn't feel anything like that quiet community that you had imagined. That's why it's so important to know which neighborhoods are further along and which ones still have a few chapters to go, okay? Because buying in the wrong spot right now, it's kind of like, buying a house with an old roof. It looks great on the surface. Everything looks fine until that first heavy rain. And, same thing here. It might look shiny on the surface, but if all of the infrastructure is not there yet, if the schools are overcrowded, the roads aren't finished yet, and that noise is nonstop, you're the one who's going to end up having to deal with it. And look, you might be wondering, should I wait until it all settles? And that's a valid question, but some of these neighborhoods are already on the move. And when that momentum kicks in, it usually doesn't slow down. Look, Langley is not staying the same. It's shifting rapidly. So instead of asking, can I see myself here today? A better question might be, what will this place feel like 5 years from now? Because whether you're planning to stay long-term or settle down the road, that answer is going to matter. And this is exactly the kind of thing that I help my buyers work through early on every day so that you're not guessing. Instead, you're planning. All right, so let's talk a little bit about lifestyle balance in Langley, because this is one of the best things about living in Langley. So you can grab a coffee at a local coffee shop, then you can hit a grocery store, you can take your dog for a hike, and you can still make it to a winery at dinner time. All of that in one day. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, and you get access to nature without giving up convenience. And for a lot of people, for families, for upsizers, or really anyone who's just over the hustle and bustle of the city, that balance is a huge draw. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. For some people, Langley just feels too quiet. So if you're used to the buzz, the energy, the late nights, walkable everything, this might feel like the volume got turned way down for you. And the weather, well, let's be real. The rainy season, it can be a real stretch here. There's lots of gray days, weeks where it can drizzle nonstop. Now, for some people, that can be really cozy. But for others, it can feel a little bit heavy. And some people even deal with the seasonal affective disorder. So just be aware of that. And it's just something that I always talk through with my clients very early, because if you're looking for peace and quiet, Langley is great. But if you need a city with energy all around you, it might feel, well, maybe like it's not the right fit. Looking at real estate values, even with the market moving, there's still real opportunity in Langley. Here, your dollar is going to go further than it would be in other parts, and most parts actually, of Metro Vancouver. And you can find detached homes with great yards, townhouses that are not going to break your budget, and areas that are still very much on the upswing. And the options, there's variety, okay? There's acreages, character homes, new builds, townhomes that are near the SkyTrain stations, and it's all on the table for you. I always try to help my clients understand it's not just about what you can afford, but it has to actually fit the lifestyle that they want to have, along with what's actually going to hold long-term value. Actually, I had one client about a year ago who was looking at a place in Langley City, and he almost passed up on a unit because the building, it was a little bit older. But when I I helped him look more closely at how newer buildings nearby were selling for about 25% higher, we could see that the area was gaining momentum. And then just a few months later, sure enough, units in that same building, they had already gone up by $10,000 to $15,000. And this is why understanding the market rather than guessing is so important. Okay, so I should probably also mention that if you like the nightlife, well, Langley isn't exactly known for it. Yes, there are some good breweries, a casino, some great restaurants, but if you're looking for concerts, for clubs, or anything past 10 p.m., you're likely going to be heading back into the city, which leads us to transit. Okay, transit, it is getting better, especially with the SkyTrain expansion coming. But unless you're close to one of the existing or future SkyTrain stations, you are going to be driving. So as you can see, buying a home isn't always as straightforward as it might seem. Even after you've chosen the perfect neighborhood, the perfect area, there are traps, right? There's hidden costs, timing mistakes, all of these things that unknowing people far too often fall into. So if you're serious about getting it right and not getting burned, make sure you watch this next video popping up right now. And of course, if you want to chat more about your specific situation, feel free to book a call. There is a link in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.